We want to join now the Virginia Democratic Congressman, Suhas Subramanyam, who is among those who are keeping a very close eye on what's happening on Capitol Hill. Congressman, I appreciate your being with us. It does look increasingly like a shutdown is unavoidable. You live in a Virginia district, of course, filled with federal workers, the highest number of federal workers in the country in California, right behind them, the state of Virginia. What is your message to those in your home state at this moment?
I have talked to so many of them, and they have been fed up with this administration's policies, both cutting access to health care for millions of Americans, including thousands, tens of thousands in our district, as well as firing federal workers, making the ones who have stayed their lives miserable, and canceling contracts overnight, leading to contractors having to fire people as well. So it's been a really difficult time already. They've already been shutting down the government in a lot of ways. And so what they want to do, this is not a clean CR like they say. They're continuing the mess that they've started by, again, firing people across the board. Now they're threatening even more firings and layoffs and cuts to critical needs of the American people. And so, the message from my constituents is stand up to this administration.
So let me ask you about that specifically. At what point during a shutdown are Democrats perhaps going to have to seriously consider some concessions on health care? Democrats face a real challenge. There may be a messaging opportunity, but Republicans control the House and the Senate. They control the White House as well.
I mean, let's be clear. This is not just about a messaging opportunity. This is life or death for millions of Americans. They rely on these tax credits and these plans and these programs to really have access to a doctor. We're seeing rural health care centers being closed down all across the country, including in Virginia. We're seeing federal workers getting fired. We're seeing contractors losing their contracts overnight, doing critical work for the American people. This is not business as usual. And so this is not just about messaging or politics. This is really serious, and this is about protecting access to care and access to jobs for my constituents.
Let me ask you about what Senator Schumer and Leader Jeffries have said. They've dismissed the president's threats of mass layoffs. They insist that he is going to go ahead with those firings anyway. So what is the party's message to those federal workers? Do they have to start looking for work elsewhere? What should federal workers do in this moment?
Again, we've already seen tens of thousands of federal workers get laid off, lose their jobs. What happens is the administration fires these folks, and they realize how important they are to running our country, and then they come crawling back, asking them to come back. I've seen that happen over and over again. Certainly in Virginia, we have been hurt by this administration's policies. But let me be clear to the American people, do not let them lie and say that a shutdown means you have to fire people. It's quite the opposite. You should be keeping everyone. They won't get paid during the shutdown, but hopefully we don't have a shutdown. But unfortunately, the problem right now is I'm here on Capitol Hill, and there's no Republicans here really negotiating with us or making a real effort to actually avert a shutdown. So this is where we are right now because they have complete control of government.
So let's note what the polls say right now. A new New York Times and Siena College poll shows that 65% of voters, including 43% of Democrats, do not think Democrats should let the government shut down, even if their demands are not met. Is using the funding deadline, I think this is ultimately where the question may lie, is using this funding deadline as a negotiating tool, despite these enormously high stakes, the right strategy?
Again, I dispute the question in that poll. It's saying that we're letting the government shut down. Republicans have the House, they have the Senate, they have the White House, they even have the Supreme Court at this point. They have complete control. They had many, many months to come to us and work out an agreement. The first time they even made an effort was that dog and pony show that the president put on in the White House, where he wasn't negotiating in good faith. And so it seems like the president, from what we've heard from Russ Vought and other people in his administration, it seems like they want a shutdown, and that this is their plan, perhaps their plan all along. And so, okay, they have control, but we don't want a shutdown. We want to negotiate. We want to make sure that we move forward, but we also know that this is life or death for our constituents. And so we need to make sure that we save people's health care and we save people's jobs in my district.
We saw a situation not too dissimilarly in March. Senator Schumer and 9 other Democrats ultimately joined Republicans then to pass a short-term funding bill that obviously frustrated many people within your party. Do you believe that Democrats are more unified in their position this go-round?
We are more unified. I think looking back, that CR and that budget fight was basically the same thing we're voting on again. So I don't know why Republicans think we would vote differently on the basically exact same thing, except a little bit worse. The reality is right now, yes, we're a little more unified this time. It seems like the Senate is not going to accept their proposal.
The last time the Democrats went along with it, I guess. So what changed between then and now?
I haven't changed, certainly, and pretty much all House Democrats haven't changed. I think what's the same, really, is the fact that they're continuing to cut federal workers' jobs, continuing to cut health care, and this is not business as usual. And so perhaps some Democrats learned that lesson over the last 6 months, but I don't know why Republicans thought we would vote for this after voting against it in March.
Congressman Suhas Subramanyam, we really appreciate you making time for us. Obviously, no American wants to see a shutdown at this moment, so we'll be watching very closely. Thank you so much for your time.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.